Clovis here with UNS Technology LLC. Today we want to talk about the first tutorial on design pattern. And the first tutorial on design pattern is going to be about the Singleton pattern. So as you can see, we have already output here because I was testing it. So let's see what it's about. So a Singleton pattern is pretty much based on a creational pattern, the way you're creating an object. It's like once you create the object, it's like you won't create another object even if you're trying to create again this object. So it's gonna still keep the same reference of the previous objects. It's complex right now, maybe, but I want to explain and then you're gonna get it. First of all, to create a singleton, you need a private constructor, and then the private constructor has to be instantiated inside the class. As you can see, now these objects of this class, which is the object of the same class, it's like you're creating an object inside the same class, but its constructor here is a private constructor. And then to get the object from outside, you need to use a get instance method. This method pretty much is just conventional. People they use get instance. That means get an object, but you can name it differently. So this get instance is going to be returning the objects all the time. When they do get instance, it's going to be returning this object which is already created inside the class. So it won't be a different object. It's going to be just being the same object ever and ever. Even though we're like, okay, after creating the objects, we can do like set the name of the object, maybe get the name to see if they are different, but it won't be different. It's gonna be just the same. We're gonna demo it. In here we have what we normally know like a creational and normal class that are called normal producer, like with a public constructor, and the name artist name no name because it doesn't have a name yet, and set artist name that get the name of whatever artist and then pass it in the artist name. And then here we have a method that which is get artist name that return the name of the artist. So we have pretty much the same logic inside also a Singleton producer compared to normal producer, but the only difference is the way we're constructing the object, and then we're getting it from outside. So beside this, these lines are highlighted. Everything else like set artist name and get artist name, and then artist name are similar to what we have here, like, and this one. So the difference is the way just we're constructing the objects. Now let's see why it's gonna be different from the normal objects. So in the top we put Singleton code. In the bottom we put normal object code. So what I was saying before is like even if you create an object, the first object, and then you're creating another object from a Singleton class, once you set a value in the first object and then you didn't change it, even though you're trying to get that value in the second time you created the object, it's gonna still be the same value. But in the normal class, when you create two different objects, they are two different objects because it's gonna be the same objects. They're gonna be pointing in the two different reference. But this one with Singleton, even though they are single one and single two, are pointing in the same reference. So once you give the name set artist name to single one, single two also got the same name automatically. And if you do, you want to print the name of single one and single two, it's gonna be definitely the same name you put uh, on single one. But in this case of the normal objects, the normal way to create an object, that's what we're calling a normal producer class. We have two objects here, and once you set the name, the artist name for the first object, the second object is, since it's not pointing to the same object, it will not give you the name back even if you're using get artist name from it. Let's run it and then see what's happening in the code. So let's run it. I think it's running already. Okay, console, there we go. So let's put it side by side. So as you can see here, I put a message. Let's bring it below. Okay, like this, it's easier. So for good visibility, I want to copy everything we have here and then paste here, so we can see what's the outcome and then comment it so that we won't have any errors. So we have a single producer below, which is the first message we have here, and you can see we create both of the objects using Singleton pattern. We set the first object name easy single, and we're trying to get the name from the first Singleton object, and then the second objects, the Singleton second objects. Even though we didn't set the name for the second one, we see here is giving us the same name. But instead, for the normal way to create an object, we just set the name on the first object. The second one doesn't have it. So when we get the artist name from the first object, eventually it's gonna get what we passed here, normal young money. But the second object call for get artist name, it will not give us a young normal money because it wasn't set there. It's pointing in the different reference, a completely new object. So that's why we have no name. No name, why? Because in here it's taking the default name since there were no change made from him. So this is the Singleton pattern. This is how we create it. This is pretty much how to create this line down, the key to create a Singleton pattern. Learn it, try it, and master it. That's all for today. Thank you so much and have a blessed day. Bye.